which study do you? You are from New York, you said? Which high school or something did you graduate? Which study did you follow?
Like in college or graduate school?
Graduate school.
Graduate school, I did it at Parsons, the new school, part-time.
Okay.
And then Parsons FONS. But I studied, I got a master's in fine arts in what they call design and technology, which is really vague sounding. Design and technology covers a lot of different things, obviously. But I went there originally to learn how to embed electronics into clothing. So I have a background in fashion, and I was a fashion designer for many years. Then I went to graduate school because I wanted to learn how to put electronics into clothing. So that's where I learned about electronics and building electronics. And I also studied game design because they had a lot of game design classes. So I took game design classes in graduate school. So by the time I left, I also was really interested in game design.
Yeah. So this is also, you also studied interaction, something like that?
So yeah, there's a lot of interaction involved, interaction design involved in the graduate program. So it's kind of a big graduate program, so there's like animation, there's what else is there? There's just a lot of different things, and people leave often going to sort of media, advertising agencies, so media agencies, but people also do different things. They become game designers also, interaction designers, user experience designers, that sort of thing.
Is this one of your best works? What are you proud of your own work?
That's a good question. I like this project. I don't know if it's my best, but this is actually what I made in graduate school. So I worked on it for a while, I guess I make games that bring people together in the physical space. And for me, out of all the games that I've made, this is the most, I would say, I feel like it represents the idea the best for me. Because it's not just, it uses digital, technology, but because of creating custom interfaces for the users to interact with, I've created this physical game essentially. So
it's a game which you don't know the end of. I think that's the most fun part. You need really opponents to play against. So you need a friend or someone to play against. That's, I think it's a very that's the whole festival about it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very good concept. Now in this moment, did you know that you were stand here?
In the Netherlands?
Did you expect that you were standing here presenting your own game?
No, I never thought I would ever go to the Netherlands or anything like that. It's kind of an amazing thing to be able to come here and share with people my project and to have people play it. I'm extremely grateful, and I didn't expect that when I started making games. I didn't expect it for people in other places.
Why Holland? Is Holland further in this sort of games, or is it just a link between America and Holland, or is it just random?
That's a good question. That's probably a good question for the people running the festival. But the people running the festival, they invited me.
plan like creating a game, how does your day look like? What is it like? Is it like you think about ideas and then you just go start, or do you have a team, or
I don't have a team. I teach. Also, I teach undergraduate and graduate levels, and I teach various things from game design to also to how to build these kind of interfaces, these custom interfaces for games. And then the other time I spent, working on my projects, and usually I don't have a team, so it's just me, and sometimes I get some collaborators to collaborate, I think of an idea, usually I think about what sort of interactions I want to have, I think about that first, and then I build from there. And there's a lot of brainstorming and sort of research involved because I'm not an engineer and because I'm not a programmer. I have to really sort of figure out what sort of things that I can do, like what is realistic in many ways. And I try to think of the idea and their interaction and the player's experience before I think about the technology, which is really hard, but I think that's the only way to be true to your intentions. Unless you want to highlight some kind of technology, then it makes sense to start from the technology. But when you want to highlight the game, you want to highlight the interaction, then you start with that first, and then you build the technology around the concept.
What are programs like for this building this interaction, building this game? What programs do you use? Do you use like Flash or
I use processing. You can find that on processing.org. But I use processing, and I also use microcontroller development system called Arduino.
Yes, we have to use it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, so I use the Arduino, and then I have it talk to processing through serial communication. Essentially, that is the USB.
So that's connected to the helmet.
Yeah, so for the wireless part, I use doorbell set.
Yeah.
And so each pad has other doorbells in it. So this is taken from that. And then you see this brown one here, that's taken from inside the receiver. So I'm just using the wireless signals to have the game.
Original way of creating things, I guess, like taking something out of another product and putting it in your own.
Right. So using consumer electronics.
Yes.
And
so you don't have to build it yourself.
Right. And then also controlling the electronics myself. I don't have to always be the consumer, right? I can also be a producer or a creator if I know how this works, and I can just use it for whatever I want. So that's another aspect of the project.
When you were in college, they taught you things. Do you still remember points of education from then? Do you still use it? You still remind you about
graduate school, definitely. But I also, graduate school, because I learned all the electronics there, I definitely used a lot of things that I learned there. And there was a lot of chances to think about how people interact with technology, sort of to really think about how do they interact with technology. Other than that, my career as a fashion designer, I learned how to work with my own design process, and that was really important to be able to spend years as a fashion designer
how to get like a progress in our. Yeah, we are about a bit young now. We have advice about how we develop our skills in like engineering and.
Right, things like that. Well, I mean, just
Can we try it? Can we play?
sure.
Yeah?
I just want to answer this one question and then I'll be ready.
Take your time. Keep it short.
If it has to do with electronics and things, I mean, it's really important just to be curious about things. Like, why do people like the iPhone? Or why do people, play online games and they don't play? Why are all the arcades gone now? There are so many questions that you can ask. So we always be really curious about why are the things are the way they are. Like what makes things popular? That's another question that I always ask. Those kind of things are really important. And ultimately technology, at least to me, technology is a tool. And so like what are the things that people want to achieve by using this technology or by making things with this technology? What is it that you really want people to experience? What do you want them to feel? How do you want them to leave the experience? Do you want them to be happy about it? Do you want them to walk away knowing something new? So those are just different things that you can ask yourself.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much.